Slow-moving disaster is how the mayor of a central Queensland community is describing rising floodwaters that have breached a failed barricade system and inundated the CBD. Workers are battling with pumps tonight to keep the water at bay, with the Maryborough expected to peak at 2 a.m. local time at 10.3 metres. Locals have been airlifted to safety, while further south a 22-year-old man died in floodwaters and grave fears are held for a missing teenage girl. The rain has eased, but there's no stopping the water on the ground.
It's a slow-moving disaster. I mean, the water is rising slowly. I mean, it's in buildings now. If you go down to the river, you'll see it roaring. The Mary River is roaring towards the ocean, but the actual way that seeps up into the city, it's a slow thing.
Maryborough in central Queensland has been evacuated after its levee system failed.
Catastrophic and devastating failure in the barricade system, which we set up yesterday. Somehow one of the gates in the stormwater system underneath the barricade failed, which means the floodwater is coming up underneath the barricade.
Floodwater has breached the town centre. What does this mean for businesses in the CBD?
Well, this increases the number of businesses that are affected from about 15 to over 100. So it really enlarges the area that is inundated. We are right now throwing more pumps at it. We have got pumps from Handy Hire and anywhere else we can get to try and salvage what we can from the barricade.
Homes are under threat too.
At this stage, we're expecting around 80 homes to be impacted.
Emergency services have been searching the flooded streets. Residents told to leave ahead of the floodwaters.
We saw the police on the property next door and they said, look, you've got to go. Yes. So they brought the dinghy down and I just grabbed a suitcase and paperwork and what we could and off we on the dinghy with the dog and everything.
Pretty sad, the house going on the water and stuff.
Locals are being warned of potential water and food shortages. They're also reminded not to drive on flooded roads. Rescue helicopters have been airlifting stranded drivers, including 2 people who were waving a sheet in a desperate bid to attract attention. One man was killed when his car was washed away, and authorities are looking for a 14-year-old girl who evacuated another car in floodwaters near Gympie.
Very grave fears for this young lady.
The region is prone to flooding.
So 2013, it was coming up to our 3rd top step. So it was kind of lapping the floorboards at the back of the house. So hopefully it's not that bad.
We don't want it in the house. No, we don't want too much mess to clean up if it goes inside, and too much destruction.
But the downpour caused by ex-tropical cyclone Seth was a surprise.
What happened here was 700 millimetres of rain fell in places like Glenwood and Cannigan, and so the flood has been roared down here very, very quickly with less than a day's notice.
They're doing it really tough. These floods are very sudden. I have spoken with the mayor and certainly we'll be providing whatever support we can.
The federal government is preparing to activate disaster relief payments. Preparations are also underway in the far north of the state. Tropical cyclone Tiffany has formed in the Coral Sea and is expected to bring damaging to destructive winds and heavy rain on Monday morning.